That's me. Bethany Ann, all hail the great leader Jane Amos. Beth for short. I'm about to jump the Great Wall of Norfolk on a stolen tractor.
What are you looking at?
In the people's paradise, every day is a glorious day. Never need to worry now, the leader shows the way. Everybody's happy, who could disagree? If you did, I'd dub you in, you do the same for me. We get along just fine without the outside world, with justice guaranteed for all. You can keep your fancy interfering foreign ways. We all live the good life behind a wonder wall. In the people's paradise, every one of us is equal and free. 30 years of living life the way it's meant to be. In our Eastern Eden, we're all fit as a flea. No more rickets, no more pox, no more dysentery. We teach our young'uns everything they need to know. Even our old folks do their bit. Our glorious republic is the envy of the world, especially in Suffolk, 'cause it's we all live in a people's paradise, a people's paradise, a people's paradise.
Now, everyone knows the story of Norfolk, how it voted to cut itself off from the rest of the world, how they put up that big old wall around it, and how no one's ever been allowed in or out of it since. So, I won't waste time going on about that. Suffice to say that in the 30 years since Norfolk's independence, things have gone steadily downhill. I've lived behind the wall for 19 years, and I can tell you straight, everything you've heard about this place is true. There's never enough food, there's never any money, and there's hardly ever any electric, so there's no telly. If you so much as think about complaining, they lock you up or worse. Openly criticising a party official carries the death sentence, but then so do most things. Littering, poaching, sheep stealing, scrumping, failing to salute the great leader, discussing the outside world, discussing pictures of the outside world, not singing the national anthem, listening to rap music, wearing flared trousers on a Sunday, basically just about anything you can think of. Oh yeah, and trying to escape, of course. That definitely carries the death sentence, but then, hey, I've done it. Loads of times. Well, not escaped, just tried.
round the back.
That's my dad, Amos. He's a pest controller. Rats, mice, foxes, whatever's causing your problem, he'll kill it for you. That's why he walked all that way out to Mrs. Glover's farm. Something's been at her chickens. She'd lost 5 that week already and she wasn't happy. The neighbour's farm had been hit too and their dog had gone missing. Mrs. Glover wondered if it might be foxes. She'd had trouble with foxes before, you see, but after looking round the crime scene, Dad knew better. He said, "No, that ain't foxes, lady," and pointed to the woods. The culprits in this case, he said, were badgers. Mrs. Glover wondered if badgers might be a bit difficult to take care of, given their fearsome reputation and all, but Dad wasn't worried. It would only take about 10 minutes, so she could go put the kettle on if she liked. Now, some pest controllers set traps. Others use poison, and some have dogs or ferrets. Dad? He takes a more direct approach. Is Miss Hall. She used to teach me history. And that's my mum, Annie, looking worried, as usual. She's a cleaner up at County Hall. She doesn't like it much. Says that when she was a girl, she wanted to go to college, maybe be a doctor someday, but then the revolution happened. So she's a cleaner. And that is my little brother, Toby. He's a member of the Norfolk Youth League, has been since age 6. He always was a horrible little sod, and since he's been with the league, he's grown into a real monster. If he's got it in for you, then you're in trouble. Take Miss Hall, for example. She's Toby's history teacher now, but not for much longer. You see, it does not pay to give a member of the Norfolk Youth League an F in their history exam. We live in the capital of our glorious People's Republic, in the finest city in the world. Norwich. In a crappy terraced house with no electric and an outside loo that we share with 12 other families. Dad tells me that back before the revolution, you could leave the county any time you felt like it. Just drive down the road and go. Imagine that. No border wall.
Chicken.
Of course, talking about that pre-revolution stuff is totally forbidden and punishable by death, so when Dad does talk about it, it's in whispers. And then only when he's drunk. Which, to be honest, is quite a lot of the time. Mum gets real nervous when we talk about that stuff. She nearly had a heart attack when I suggested we should all try to escape. She's right to be scared, of course, because it is well dangerous, but I knew that really they'd both love to leave if they could. Dad even suggested that if we were ever to try it, hypothetically speaking, of course, then he might know of a way. He'd been on a job earlier in the year, in an old sewer that runs out to the Great Wall near Ditchingham. While he was down there, taking care of the rats, he'd got a bit lost. Come up against the old iron bars that block the tunnel, right underneath the wall. Rotten they were. Probably wouldn't take too much persuading with a crowbar.
Mummy, I'm thirsty. Hello, Daddy.
The next morning, Mum packed Toby off to school as usual, and then started packing herself. Just the essentials. I set off for Ditchingham to check out the sewer and see if it was still the way that Dad remembered it. And Dad, he met up with an old mate for a farewell beer.
That's getting too dangerous, Bob. Last night, little Toby walks in on me and the missus talking about leaving.
Leaving? Leaving who?
No, not who, leaving the county.
Shh! Bloody hell, Amos. Careful, boy, that's dangerous talk.
I know it's dangerous. That's why I'm saying that last night little Toby walked in on me and her talking about it. She's terrified of him. She reckon there's only a matter of time until the little turd turns us over to the authorities.
Turning his own mum and dad? No.
He bloody would. He denounced the cat last week.
No, not.
Yep, Mr. Whiskers. That, my friend, is a terrible thing. To see a good cat burned at the stake.
Jesus.
Yeah, and I know that our eldest, she's tried to get out a few times and all.
You be real careful, Amos. You know the penalty for trying to leave the county. Even thinking about it is against the law. My brother Stuart, dobbed in by his neighbours, arrested the very next morning just on suspicion of even thinking about it.
Blimey. How is he?
I'll ask. Alright, Stuart, how's it going out there?
It's not so bad, Bob. Plenty of fresh air. That's a cracking view.
After a 5-hour trudge along crappy farm tracks, I made it to Ditchingham. The sewer entrance was just as Dad had described it, and after a few minutes of tugging and swearing at the manhole cover, I was in. Ugh, gross. Unsurprisingly, it was horrible down there. It was stinky, slippery, and of course, very, very dark. Ugh. I'd estimated that the Great Wall must be about 1/4 of a mile south. But underground it's kind of difficult to judge distance. After a very unpleasant 10 minutes of splashing and slipping around in God knows what, I was presented with a choice. Dad, bless him, had failed to mention this, so I took a guess. And guess what? I guessed right! Trouble is, I should have guessed left. 2 hours and several more guesses later, I was well and truly lost. The stench down there was incredible and making me dizzy. My skin was crawling, I was soaking wet, I was freezing cold, and most alarming of all, the lamp was running out.
Oh, the bloody badgers are back. Come on, Buster. Buster! Buster! Buster?
My lamp was all but dead. The intense pong was making my head spin, my feet freezing cold, they'd gone numb, and I was starting to despair of ever getting out of that dreadful, stinking hellhole alive. When? I've never been so glad to see a ladder in all my life. I had no idea where I was, until... I must have gone northeast somehow, and for a fair few miles, because this was the Heckenham Power Station, Norfolk's very own nuclear power plant. Officially, we were all supposed to be super proud of our state-of-the-art atomic generator, but everybody knows it was really just a dodgy old Soviet hand-me-down. I'd come up in the compound, on the inside of the barbed wire, and was looking for a way out when I saw... them. Badgers. Dozens of badgers. I'd never seen so many in one place. God knows what was leaking into the water, but it was doing some very strange things to the badgers. Amazingly, the badger's radioactive flatulence was propelling them, firing them up into the sky, like furry black and white missiles. As badger after badger roared into the sky above me, an insane thought popped into my head. Pounding on our front door could only mean one thing. Police. Toby had done his duty to the Republic and turned us in. When I hadn't made it back home the night before, Mum and Dad had feared the worst. They were packed and ready to go. Out the back, through the fence, into next door's garden and away. In the darkness, they crept from street to street, heading south across the city. It was dawn, and the streets were deserted. The sun was coming up as they passed through the city centre. And when they rounded the cathedral, their luck ran out.
Stop!
I don't doubt for a second that Dad would have let them have it, but fortunately he didn't have to.
What the?
chaos engulfed Norwich as wave after wave of ballistic badgers rained down on the unsuspecting city. Ahead of us lay freedom. After 15 minutes hanging on for dear life, we cleared the Great Wall. Woohoo! And that is how we escaped from Norfolk. A little strange. Yeah, I thought so too, but then whatever works, eh? And a minute or two after that, over the first convenient river, we let go. Whoa! Over the years, I've heard so much about the outside world. It's been a dream for as long as I can remember, and now it's a dream come true. The outside world has everything you could ever want. Everybody's rich. Everybody's happy. Everybody's got a car, a brand new one. There's fast food, all-day electricity, televisions in every house, shops full of amazing stuff, jobs for everyone who wants one, free money for anyone who doesn't want one. And above all, it's got freedom. I just know that this is gonna be great.
Go back where you came from. In the people's paradise, every day is a glorious day. Never need to worry now, the leader shows the way. Everybody's happy, who could disagree? If you did, I'd dub you in, you do the same for me. We get along just fine without the outside world, with justice guaranteed for all. You can keep your fancy interfering foreign ways. We all live the good life behind our wonder wall.